Aloha friends, it's Maureen Gary coming to you again with more tips on how you can age well and stay as healthy as possible for as long as possible. Today I want to talk to you about a certain paper that I think is fascinating. It gets into the problem we have with insulin and insulin sensitivity and insulin resistance and diabetes and all of these problems in metabolism that lead to problems with not only diabetes, but our brain health, because diabetes is very strongly correlated with poor brain health and Alzheimer's. So the title of this paper is, and it's in the Diabetology and Metabolic Syndrome Journal. It's called Mechanism of Increased Risk of Insulin Resistance in Aging Skeletal Muscle. There's our topic, aging skeletal muscle. How does aging skeletal muscle influence insulin and whether or not you're going to be tolerating diabetes or tolerating glucose well, or you're going to be on your way to diabetes? Well, here we have in the United States, and this paper is the United States statistics. We have a very big problem with our ability to handle glucose. Statistically, and I'll read from the paper, the prevalence of diabetes, impaired fasting glucose, which is the thing you will get on your lab test, or impaired glucose tolerance, which is when they do a test and they give you that big load of sugar water and they see how you respond. In the United States, in individuals from 40 to 59, I'm starting there because this channel is for aging people, 40 to 59 was 46.9%, closing in on 50%, right? It's almost half. Go a little bit older, 60 to 74 years old, and it's 67.4%. That's a full 2/3. And you go over 75, that's over 75%. That's 3 out of 4 people. Only 1 in 4 people doesn't have a problem, as far as they know, with having their glucose coming in and being paid attention to by the cells and put away properly, like a younger person's. So it's a real problem with aging. It's not all just lifestyle and all that. We have a tendency as we age. Things are getting broken. We have a lot of things that aren't working as well as they used to. But what we need to do is we need to resist that. And there are things we can do to resist that. This is just actions you can take. I'm not saying you're going to be 21 again. I'm saying these are actions you can take now to stop the slide and potentially get better. And today, of course, we're talking about muscle and its influence on insulin and on glucose tolerance. This is a very complicated paper. It takes many, many different ways we can influence insulin. So I'm just going to bring it to just two very simple concepts, okay? Number one, mitochondrial function. You know the mitochondria as the powerhouses of the cell, right? The mitochondria are the things that take in the glucose and they create ATP and then they shoot it down the electron transport chain and then you have energy. You have contraction in the muscle. As we age, those things become weak, they become less numerous. If you don't use them, they will just atrophy away because anything that's not stimulated to be used is going to go away. Mitochondria are one of them. And when we don't have properly functioning mitochondria, and we don't have enough of them, that shoots up glucose intolerance and insulin resistance. That's a huge factor. So we need to stimulate that mitochondria. We have to stimulate contraction of muscles. That will help with glucose tolerance. Then number two, you've seen people as they're young and robust and big muscles, and then they age and they get smaller and weaker and tinier and shrunken into these little tiny people that are frail with little skinny muscles. That's called sarcopenia. Sarcopenia is a huge problem with aging because we don't challenge ourselves in the way we used to when we were younger. And sarcopenia is a huge risk factor for glucose intolerance. And that means the whole problem with insulin and the whole cascade of things leading to diabetes. So what can we do to fight sarcopenia? Well, yes, of course, exercise. But there's a specific kind of exercise that we should be doing because as we age, there's this tendency to get more and more loss of what's called fast twitch or type 2 muscle fibers. Those are the ones that are really going to move your joints quickly. They're going to move your hips quickly. They're going to move your legs quickly. They're going to move your arms quickly. They're bigger and bulkier, but they move you quickly. And those are the ones that are preferentially lost as we age. So you notice it's harder to sprint. It's harder to move weights faster. It's harder for you, and this is an important scenario to think about. If you were to trip, it's harder for you to shoot that leg out in front of you to catch yourself. So not having fast twitch muscle fibers puts you at risk of all kinds of injuries, not the least of which is a broken hip if you should fall, broken wrist at the minimum, and that is a really morbid condition. It's something that could put you out of commission for quite some time, and sometimes those are really hard to come back from. You know, people with broken hips a lot of times just, they end up in the hospital, and that's where they stay until they die. So we don't want that for you, right? We want fast twitch muscle fibers. And you don't have to go sprinting down the street. You don't have to run. Fast can come in the gym. You can get on a stationary bike and you can pedal that thing as fast as possible in intervals. You know, we want sprints. We don't want to have all out and try to make yourself 20 minutes. You can't. You can't sustain it. We want sprints. We want you to pick up heavy things and move them with multiple joints. And that means get someone who can help you to do these movements correctly. You might need a trainer unless you know how already. But things like bending over with weights and pulling them up and shooting them over your head really fast. It's a compound movement. It gets your whole body integrated with the neuromuscular connections, right? We got to get the brain connecting everything and coordinating everything. So fast, multiple joint movements are going to integrate your nervous system. They're going to build the size of the muscles. They're going to build the speed of the muscles and the strength of the muscles. And that in turn will increase insulin sensitivity. So that's it, just those two. All you got to do, stimulate the muscles to move and for the mitochondria to be stimulated. By the way, did I mention that they'll grow more and bigger when you make them stimulated? The mitochondria, more and bigger. So you can improve your mitochondrial number and function as well as getting rid of the old and weak and not performing well ones. And then of course, type 2 fibers. You want to give stimulus to that and make sure that you're getting the strength and the quickness to be able to save yourself from a fall and also to deal with all of the glucose coming into your body. Okay, got that? Great. I'm glad you've been here with me. I will be back again soon. Tell your friends, of course, if you like this, hit the like button, hit the subscribe. And until next time, stay well and stay sharp.